Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Week 10, this is our last lesson. I hope everyone is well prepared to have some fun. We're going to start off with some review, and then I have a great activity for everyone, so look forward to it. Don't lose your excitement. Let's get started with some review so we can get to that game. All right, starting off fresh. Let's review first what is fresh in our head. Last week we talked about tobacco and how it can affect users and surrounding bystanders. I hope that rings a bell in some way, in some part of your brain. Tobacco has harmful effects if used, so let's discuss short-term and long-term effects. Let's see how well we remember the short-term and long-term effects, and I'll give the class about 20 seconds to find the work page in our book. It should be around 26 or 27, and you can use those for some help. Since I am not in person, I will read off the effects. All right. So wrinkles, cancer, yellow teeth, nicotine addiction, bad breath, heart disease, shortness of breath, secondhand smoke. Remember, these are the short-term and long-term effects. Let's go over those and see which are which. So wrinkles, let's start off with that. Wrinkles, are they short-term or long-term? Stand up if they're short-term, or stay sitting if they're long-term. You should be sitting. Wrinkles are long-term. Cancer, stand up if you think it's short-term, sit down if it's long-term. Again, you should be sitting. Cancer is a long-term effect of tobacco and nicotine use. Yellow teeth. Is this a short-term or a long-term effect? Stand up if they're short-term, sit down if they're long-term. You should be standing. Yellow teeth are short-term. Nicotine addiction. Is this short-term or long-term? Stand up if you think it's short-term, sit down if you think it is long-term. Short-term is the answer. Nicotine addiction can occur after just one use of tobacco. Bad breath. Stand up if you think it's short-term. Sit down if you think it's long-term. Bad breath is short-term. You should be standing. Shortness of breath. Is this short-term or is this long-term? Shortness of breath is actually short-term, right? It can happen just after one use. It'll start affecting your body and your lungs. And secondhand smoke, this isn't really a short-term or a long-term effect, but secondhand smoke, the more you're around it, it can start to cause those other things like wrinkles, cancer, all those long-term effects. But even if you're around it, it can cause those short-term effects almost immediately. So make sure we stay away from some secondhand smoke. All right, now let's discuss and remember the benefits of being nicotine-free. Fresh breath, whiter teeth, happier heart, healthier lungs, breathe better, and you also smell better. Don't those sound great? Staying away from users of tobacco is always our best decision because we want to remember that we can be affected by all of the chemicals produced by burning tobacco. So if someone is smoking inside, what should we do? You can say your answer out loud that we discussed this last week. You should walk away or politely ask them to go outside. I want everyone's health to be top notch, so let's continue to be making great decisions. Please remember the effects. All right, now I'm going to be talking a lot since today we are going to be playing a game, an activity called Space Race. I want everyone to start off by breaking up into 3 to 6 groups, and if I could get the teacher's help, it would be phenomenal. So break up into about 6 groups if we have a huge class, maybe 5 if we have a big class. You can put 5 people in a group or 6, that is totally fine. Even 3 if we have a small class. Just kind of break those up, make sure everyone is in a kind of a similar group, and I hope everyone enjoys the activity. So the reason we started off with breaking up into groups is because looking at the group and having the instructions in front of you are going to help a lot just to understand, and then so everyone can just jump right into the activity. So over the past 10 weeks, hopefully we've learned a lot about ourselves, our friends, and how to reach our goals. With the game Space Race, we are going to find out exactly how much we remember. Space Race will help us practice the skills and recall the information we've discussed throughout the course. Each group will receive an instruction sheet, game board, game cards, game pawns, and one die, right? One die that we can roll. When you receive your game materials, shuffle the challenge cards and place them face down on the table next to the game board. Shuffle and deal the goal cards to each player in your group so everyone has the same number of cards. If there's an extra goal card, discard it to the side. We don't want to make anyone's goals harder on them or job. Then, without looking at them, randomly place each of the skill cards face down on a planet, asteroid, or space station. Choose a game pawn and place it on the spaceship space. The spaceship is the starting point for the game. In the game, you will travel the galaxy to find the skills, abilities, or other assets your friends back home need to reach their goals. The object of the game is to be the first player to match all of the goal cards in your hand to the right skill cards found throughout the whole solar system. Review your goal cards. Use the resource bank at the bottom of page 28 to find the skill, ability, or asset your friend back home need the most and then circle it. This will help you remember which skill cards you are searching for, just so you don't pass one up or keep moving on too quickly. No two players should be searching for the same skill card. For example, if my goal card reads, Mega Spirit's goal is to hold steady at the top of her team's 12-person pyramid when they perform in the cheerleading competition next weekend. What does she need most from the resource bank to reach her goal? I want to give y'all some time to answer. If she is standing at the top of a 12-person pyramid, she probably needs some balance and coordination. That will be the skill card I would be searching for this example. So once you know which skill cards you must find, the youngest player in each group may start the game. So the youngest player, go ahead and start once we have everything set up. To take a turn, I want you to roll the die and move the designated number of spaces on the board. So you can move in any direction you choose. The spaceship, asteroids, space stations, and planets each count as one space. So keep that in mind. When you land on a space with a skill card, pick up the card and read it aloud. Check to see if it matches a gold card in your hand, and if you have a match, show the rest of the group to see if you actually do and if they agree. Put the match pair down beside you. If the skill card doesn't match a gold card in your hand, return the skill card to the planet face down. It is now the next player's turn to move. If you land on a star space, draw a challenge card from the deck. Read it aloud and follow the instructions. The first person to match up all of his or her goal cards win the game. So use your instruction card to help us remind ourselves of the rules for setup or how to take turns. The game is super easy to understand as you go, so be ready to dive right in to start reviewing information while also hopefully having some fun. Pause the video here until we have played the game a couple of times and then unpause before the class is over with some time to spare. Please and thank you. Now that we've played the game, I hope everyone had a load of fun. I'm sorry I'm yelling. I know how much fun the game is. Congratulations to all of you. You've learned and practiced skills you will continue to use throughout your life so you can be happy, healthy, and successful. Keep applying these skills every day and remember the dangers of being around alcohol and tobacco so you can continue to make good decisions and reach your goals. Please take your workbooks home and share what you have learned with your family. Lastly, I have some certificates for everyone in our class. If I could have some help passing these out from the teacher, you can call up the kids just like we are graduating if we have the time. I want to tell everyone thank you for enjoying our time spent together. I had a lot of fun being able to create some content for everyone to learn a bit about themselves and others around us. Continue to use the information and keep your workbooks and certificates to remind you of our 10 weeks of learning. And I want to give a special shout out. Thank you, Drake, for giving a wonderful feedback and helping me create these wonderful lessons. I really appreciate everybody, and I hope you learned something once again. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did as well. Goodbye.